Montessori family, I hope everybody is doing well. You've all survived another week of quarantine. I hope everybody is staying safe and is keeping on to your sanity at least a little bit. It's still so sad and quiet around here at the school without everybody, and I can't wait until it's safe and we can all be back together. But until then, Mandy and I are going to keep making these videos to help you guys out at home and so that we can keep teaching and doing what we love to do. So today we're going to do a practical life video. I'm going to show you our practical life shelves and then also show you how to make some of your own lessons that you can work on at home. Practical life is basically life lessons that we use in the classroom that can be applied elsewhere. So it's things like, getting dressed and pouring your drinks and, tying your shoes, things that you do every day, but that take some time to develop for younger kids to use those skills. So we're able to help them in the classroom and then they can transfer that knowledge outside of the classroom. So in the toddler classroom, usually practical life is focusing on gross motor skills because that's also the skills that you're developing when you're a toddler. You want to be able to do the big things. And then whenever the children transfer over to the primary class, that's when we start working on more of those fine motor skills and working on like our pincher grip and paying attention to tinier details. So I will show you both the toddler and the primary classrooms. This is the practical life in the toddler classroom. You'll notice they have those dressing frames as well, a little bit simpler, better for the toddlers. And then there's baby dolls to play with, tracks to play with. Puzzles are a really good thing for students, especially these wooden puzzles with the knobs on them. Getting used to manipulating that and figuring out how it goes fits into the piece. This is a matching lesson, so they have the plastic objects and they match them to the picture. It's a really good thing to do with toddlers. So this is our practical life shelves in the primary classroom. They're not too full right now because we don't have as many students, but you'll see this is a tonging exercise. You move the marbles from one bin to the other. We've got some dry pouring lessons. This is soap grating. This is some screws that you screw in. Geoboards, a weaving board. This is stringing beads on a string. And then these are for different things of usually how we help students learn how to dress themselves. So the first step is Velcro, and then once they've mastered Velcro, then we go to the snaps, and then we have buttons and more advanced buttons, and then we have zippers and tying your shoes, and then we have a whole board of laces. So they get to move through those as they get more advanced. We have some magnet lessons and then some shapes. So you saw one of our toddlers earlier doing a dry pouring lesson, and as you can see, he's mastered that lesson because he was able to pour all of the materials into the next jar without doing any spilling. We start with dry pouring because it's a little bit easier for the students to manipulate, and also it's a little bit less messy. So if you want to get started on dry pouring, you can start with larger items. So you're pouring like pom-poms or some larger rocks, and then as they master that and they're getting good at that, then you can move to finer materials till you're ready to pour something like sand, which is almost the same as doing like a liquid pouring, so that you're not starting out with sand and then having sand all over your house. But once you've mastered dry pouring, you can start doing liquid pouring lessons, and then from there, this is an extension of that, of liquid pouring using a funnel. So whenever I do my lessons, I like to dye the water with food coloring. You don't have to do that, it's just a little bit more fun for the kids. They enjoy that. So whenever we put a new lesson on the shelf, even though it may seem super simple of like, yeah, we're gonna pour the liquid through here, what we do as guides is we always demonstrate that lesson to them first. And the first time I do that, I don't say any words to them except for I say, all right, we're gonna now do liquid pouring with a funnel. And when I do that, they see exactly how to do the lesson. And then they also notice when they do it if they're making any mistakes. And on all of our lessons, we always do some level of control to where they can clean up after themselves if they need to. So, for example, on our liquid pouring lessons, I usually include a sponge so they know that if they spill any of it, they can clean that mess up. And that's part of practical life as well as not only doing the lesson and doing it correctly, but learning to clean up after yourself and taking care of your environment. That's part of practical life as well. So that's a great thing to do is because if you make a mistake, that's okay. All right, one thing to keep in mind whenever you're doing practical life lessons is that through everything that we're doing in the Montessori classroom, we are always trying to set your children up for success. Part of that is why everything in our classroom is miniature and sized for children. So if I'm working on a pouring lesson and the first thing I do is hand a child this. This is a huge teapot that is really big for their hands and awkward to manipulate. So that might be something that's difficult to start out with. So we try to use items that are smaller so that their hands can use it and know how to do that. So you don't have to go out and spend a lot of money, or you don't have to freak out that you don't have Montessori materials at home. Most of the things on our practical life shelf I buy at the Dollar Tree. The Dollar Tree is a gold mine for small items that I can use for practical life. So one thing that is really nice is like baby jars, espresso cups, shot glasses, that kind of stuff. Those are the things that you want to use so that you can start introducing those lessons for your child, because it's sized for them and they recognize those things and are used to using them. Thing to keep in mind is that practical life is meant to mimic life skills. So if you don't feel like making the lessons, the best way to do that is to just include your children in your everyday activities. I know that being cooped up at home is really difficult. I was cooped up with I was quarantined with my 2-year-old cousin for 2 weeks before I came back to school. And it's hard to, chase after a 2-year-old when you still have to cook, you still have to clean, you still have to take care of all of the things that need to be done in your daily life. My heart goes out to you guys that are battling that, and I'm so glad that your children are home safe with you. And I know that it can be difficult, but I can also tell you that they are so happy that they get to spend extra time with mommy and daddy. So my advice to you is that if you are, feeling that stress and you need help, just have them do it with you. They might not do it perfectly, and it might not be what you need, but it is teaching them those skills, and they're learning right alongside with you, and they might actually be helping you. So if you're cooking dinner, pull up a chair, have them stand in the chair on the counter next to you so that they can see what you're doing, or that they can pour the ingredients or mix something for you, because they are used to doing those things in our classroom every day. If the floors need to be swept, give them the broom. They can sweep it too. We have chores in our classroom that they do every morning when they come in, and they're used to that routine and they crave that routine. So that can help put a little bit less stress on you and help your child learn. So I hope that helps. And if you guys have any questions or need any help, please feel free to reach out to Mandy and I. We are here to help you. And we have lists of chores that your children, I promise they know how to do them. They might try to trick you that they don't know how to sweep, but they do. So just some examples of some chores that our kids are used to doing. The veterinarian is the one that feeds our animals every day. They take care of them, and they'll brush Cuddles and give him food and water every day. And our art assistant is used to refilling supplies that need to be refilled. Our snack helper does all of the snack prep. They're the one chopping the vegetables and putting them in bowls and putting it away at the end of the day too. The basket patrol does the laundry. So all of your kids do know how to fold laundry. Pencil sharpening and holding the door and sweeping and cleaning the tables, cleaning up in the bathroom. The drink monitor pours all of the drinks for the students. And a weather reporter, that's another nice thing to do at home, is just every day have your child go outside and tell you what the weather is. They really enjoy being the weather reporter. The gardener, if you have indoor plants or outdoor plants, have them help you with your gardening. And then turning off the lights whenever they leave the classroom or a room in your house.